We have well over 1,000 examples of Neolithic art here, probably more than the rest of the UK put together. It was a chance discovery in 2003 when the lady who used to live in the house behind us, she was peeling her vegetables in the kitchen sink one day and saw the plough suddenly stopping when this field was last ploughed. And she saw that the reason why was a huge slab of stone that had obviously been altered by man. So she called the archaeologists in, and well, the rest is history. But it's almost like a microcosm of the wider world, where you have land, water, land, and then the sea beyond. My name's Nick Card and I'm the director of the Ness excavation. Well, it's a unique landscape, and I think this is one of the reasons that drew our Neolithic ancestors to build something like this here, because you really feel central to the whole landscape, in the middle of this huge natural amphitheatre created by the hills all the way around, and there, dominating the southwest horizon, is the island of Hoy, the so-called dark enchanted island. But this thin pencil of land with the two bodies of water either side, the Harry, which is freshwater Loch Ness, which is now connected to the sea. So where we're standing at present, there's probably about 4 metres of archaeology. We could continue excavating here for the next 200 years and still probably not get to the bottom of it. It's more like a site you'd find in the Middle Eastern tell site, where you have structures being built, some being abandoned, new ones being built on top, and gradually you get this accumulation of material. You're looking at roughly from about 3,500 BC up to about 2,300. So the whole of the Neolithic period is represented here at the Ness. What we've uncovered here is an amazing complex of Neolithic buildings. This is not a domestic site, it's not like Skara Brae. The structures here are truly on a monumental scale. Real pieces of architecture. In fact, engineering. You think that there must have been specialisation within the Neolithic when you look at the quality and the layout of some of these structures. But what we're touching here is just the tip of this huge archaeological iceberg, because we know that underneath the structures we've so far uncovered, there's earlier ones underneath and earlier ones underneath and earlier ones underneath, because the archaeology stretches all the way from the bridge there up to and around the farmhouse beyond there, and from shore to shore. It's in use at the same time as Skara Brae, the Ring of Brodgar, Stones of Ness, all these other wonderful, iconic prehistoric monuments that Orkney has. In Orkney, I think the Neolithic period, we see a kind of flourishing of it. It's just an amazing place. I think it attracted people right from the word go because of the fertility of the land. And look at the sky. It's just everything about Orkney is epic. And I think we have wonderfully building materials such as the stone. It's like naturally occurring Lego blocks. And some of the architecture is just jaw-dropping. Well, this is one of the biggest and grandest of this phase of the site. And this is what we term piered architecture. You can see these stone piers projecting from being a wall facing the side. This is structure 12. So there's 1, 2, 3 piers, and they would have been mirrored on this side of the building by another 3 piers. Disappearing out the trench edge here, this is structure 30, and the geophysics shows that this is probably even bigger than structure 12, disappearing out this direction. But we see that right the way across our trenches, the structures tantalisingly just kind of teasing us in the edge of the trenches. So they're all similar but different, and we think maybe these were built by different communities, almost competing with each other, saying who can build the biggest, the grandest, the best. But I think it was the scale of this mound that everybody thought it must just be natural. But you're looking at something 300 metres long, 100 metres wide, 4 or 5 metres high, that, it was seen as just too big. Over the last 20 years, we have recovered just a monumental amount of material, and we need to analyse that. There's been ongoing analysis ever since we began, but we have like over 100,000 shards of pottery, hundreds of thousands of pieces of animal bone, so that all needs to be looked at. As a professional archaeologist, it's our duty to share the results. So we want to leave stuff for future generations, but also, as you say, the stonework here, you couldn't leave it exposed because this is all quarried stone. whereas Scour Brae, made from hard resilient beach stone, within a couple of years this would just deteriorate. People have said, well, why don't you build a big dome over the top of it? Well, that's just impractical. One, the cost would just be astronomical, but two, where would you actually dig the foundations? Because archaeology covers the whole of the peninsula. The Ness has illuminated many aspects of, well, not just Scottish and British Neolithic. It's a bit like, for instance, the art. We have well over 1,000 examples of Neolithic art here, probably more than the rest of the UK put together. And finding so much of it in context can really give us a kind of insight into what the art may mean, or our interpretation of it, and what it meant to the Neolithic people. Well, it is already a very emotional year, as we've found. We have some volunteers and students and diggers who stay for the whole 9 weeks, but others who can only manage 2 or 3 weeks, and already having to say goodbye to them. And it's goodbye rather than see you next year. And there's been a few tears, myself included. So it's, I don't want to think what it's going to be like when we start covering it over. Well, I would like to think there'll be permanent exhibitions both in Kirkhill, Stromness museums, but also maybe touring exhibitions. But anybody interested in the Ness, our website is an amazing asset, but there you can find out everything you could ever want to know about the Ness. There's animated models, 3D models, walk-around models, and the use of augmented and virtual reality is something obviously that's still being developed, and that is all going to be included in a new website that we're planning. So although the site will be closed, it'll still live on. The legacy we leave will be there for hopefully ever.
Hello, my name's Kieran. I made that short film. I am primarily a visual artist working with photographs, and I went to the Ness Brodgar because 1, it's amazing, 2, I'd been in previous years, and 3, I spoke to Nick a couple of months ago about adding it to my collection of abstract landscapes of Scotland called Fabricated Land. There's other videos on the site you can see about that, but I really wanted just to show in a sketch the amazing history of this place. It is an incredible place to stand. I remember the first time I stood there when I was a teenager, before they'd uncovered it, and the light, the landscape, everything about the place is incredible. And so to have that history now is even more astounding. So if you've not been to Orkney, get up there. It will now be covered. They just covered it last week, but I want to record this to direct you to their website to discover more, because it is a place of complete wonder. Thank you for watching. Please do consider subscribing or liking or sharing or commenting. But most of all, you've reached the end. Well done.